So, welcome to a very special video in honour of my partner's birthday. Yes, it's his birthday week as you are watching this. And so to celebrate, I thought I would do a video sharing the best comics that he has recommended to me over the course of our relationships. So, my partner, Nick Bryan, is a comic writer and he has published several books of his own. I'll put the link in the description to where you can find out more about those. Some of them are free, others you have to buy. You can get digital copies, print copies, which he will personally post out to you in some cases. So yeah, please do check it out. But without any further ado, I'm going to go on and tell you about the best books that he has recommended to me. First up, I'm going to start with my favourite, and that is Cindy and Biscuit. So Cindy and Biscuit is basically if Buffy was a little girl and her only sidekick was a dog. That's it. That's the concept. It's great. So basically Cindy has to save the world from various monsters, aliens, you name it, she's fought it. Usually with the help of some big stick that she finds lying around somewhere, and Biscuit, you know, helps out as well. There's a lot of like, is it real, is it not, stuff going on, which I can tell you is definitively answered in one of the later books. But this is like the first collected version of what were originally like small comics, and it's just great. I love it so much. I feel like this should be famous and it's not famous, and I don't understand why the world isn't just going Cindy and Biscuit, it's amazing all the time, forever. Yeah, anyway, Cindy and Biscuit, read it, love it, enjoy it, yay. Next up is a series I'm not going to talk that much about because I've talked about it in quite a lot of detail in other videos, including in a very recent video, and that is Giant Days, which is about 3 women who are at university together and have some weird and wonderful adventures as they figure out who they are, what their place in the world is, and all of that kind of fun uni stuff. Yeah. Talked about loads before. It's quite a long series. This is the only one I have in print, which Nick actually gave to me as a present. So yeah, it's great. It's really amazing. Loads of people are massive fans of this series, so you should check it out. The next series I've only read on digital, so I can't wave it at you, and that is Sex Criminals, which is about a couple of people who find that when they have sex, time stops. So they can do this to commit crimes in order to get money to save a library, and then some other time controlling people get wise to this and try and scare them off, but they're like, not sure if I want to be scared off, I might still want to keep doing this. And there's also like lots of kind of relationship drama, emotional pain, problems, lots of complicated things. They're very complicated people and it's really interesting, and I would recommend it. Not one for kids, that one, but you know, one for grown-ups. Very good. Next up, I have what I would describe as various Rachel Smith books. So I read these all last summer. There's a whole pile here. So the first 2 I've read are Wired Up Wrong and Stand in Your Power, which are about dealing with mental health and living with depression. The first one is just basically all about mental health and dealing with depression. The second one is about that whilst also going through a breakup. And they're very, very cool, very, very interesting, very kind of like meaningful and funny and lots of different things all at the same time. Great books, would recommend them, especially if you're interested in mental health as a topic. And then the other 2 are fiction, featuring various different characters. So the earlier one of the 2, actually the second one of the 2 that I read, is House Party, which is about some people in their mid-20s who live in a house together, and they decide that they're going to like hark back to the young days when they were at university and they were cool, and for a house party, and it kind of has some consequences that are perhaps not amazing for them to experience, but also for the best in the long run. And then Artificial Flowers follows one of the characters from that story several years later when she's living in London and trying to make it as an artist, and having some family issues, and yeah, they work really well together as a pair, and I would really recommend them. The next book on this list is a very, very adorable, quick little comic called Homunculus by Joe Sparrow. And this is about an AI and kind of the apocalypse, I guess. It's really quick. It's really, really powerful and gave me the feels. Yeah, I don't really want to say anything more than that because it will just spoil you for what happens and your emotional reaction. But it's really, really good and the art is lovely. And yeah, really, really cute and really, really sad. And yeah, emotions, aren't they great? I keep looking up at myself today. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm so purple and I'm just drawn to it. I'm just really feeling the purple. I am the queen of purple, but like this is a lot of purple. I wish I had more like fully purple outfits I could wear when it's this cold, but I don't. So I have to improvise. The final book I'm going to mention is one I struggled to talk about the first time I read it, and I'm going to struggle again to talk about it now, and that is Petrichor by Gareth A. Hopkins. This is an abstract comic, and I'm sure like many people watching this will be like, what is an abstract comic? This, my friends, is an abstract comic. There's just like lots of like art that keeps like reappearing and like being used the same way. It's really like, abstract is the only way to describe it. It's basically like you have to like look at the art for ages to try to figure out what's going on or what the meaning of it is. And there's dialogue, like there's kind of like dialogue and like a narration over the top of it, and so you can kind of draw out what you think it's meant to be, but it's very much like what you interpret it as, or at least that's how I read it anyway. And it was really, really interesting. I'd never read anything like this before, and after I'd finished it I was like, Nick, so like on this page did you think that the art was this, and then like a couple of pages later did you think it was this, because that's what I thought. And even though it's like basically the same art, just changed a bit, and I was like, well, I saw this into it, did you see this into it? And you know, it made for a great discussion. So yeah, that might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I loved it. I didn't know how I was going to feel going into it, but Nick really, really enjoys this creator's work. So I was like, I'll give it a go, and yeah, convinced. So here they are. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you will check out all of these comics, especially Cindy and Biscuit. Seriously, people. Read Cindy and Biscuit, it's amazing. Just had to get it in there because I know the series I've talked about are well loved. Some of the other comics people may not have heard of, but Cindy and Biscuit, guys, just get it. Just get on there. Anyway, I love any excuse to gush about Cindy and Biscuit. Nick was like, are you gonna just talk about how you love Giant Days for ages? I was like, no, Nick. I've already talked about Giant Days recently. And then he was like, sex criminals? And I was like, come on now. I was like, Cindy and Biscuit. I'm going to spend like most of the video gushing about Cindy and Biscuit. You know how this works. I've done it before. So yeah, buy these books. Comics are great. Conventions are a lot of fun. I'm really glad that Nick has brought me into the world of comics, and he's been my guide because it's been really great. And yeah, it's really nice to have this interest in common now. And he's like, you know, he knows so much more about it than me. I'm like barely at like the bottom of the pyramid of comics joy. And I'm like looking at the iceberg from above, and I can only see this little bit, and there's so much more to discover, and I'm really excited to do that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. If you would like to read some of my writing, check out my free novella, Unlucky in Lockdown, which is set during the first couple of weeks of the first UK lockdown back last year in 2020. It's about two flatmates who don't like each other very much, but are forced to learn to get along with the pandemic going on and them being stuck inside together. You can also, if you would like to read more books but don't know where to start, check out my free course, Ignite Your Passion for Reading, Fall in Love with Books, which is linked in the description as well. Thank you again. You'll see me again soon. Bye!